The other day, I was laying on my couch trying not to be on my phone. It's something that I'm working on, something that I'm trying to do. And in my view, there was a stack of books on my newly acquired coffee table. Shout out to Cavallo for this coffee table. Now, some of the books in this pile I've never read once. Some of the books I've read multiple times. Some of the books I've only gotten a quarter or halfway or even three-fourths of the way through. Now, admittedly, the negative self-talk is the first thing that came up, and it said something to the effect of,
"You love to buy books and not finish them, huh? I'm on to you."
A quick brief moment of transparency. As a kid, I kind of had sort of a reputation of a quitter. And by that, I really mean I had a lot of phases. I tried a lot of things. And as a consequence, I quitted a lot of things as well. But more on that later. After I told the negative subconscious thoughts to pipe down, I started to see the books in a different light. I didn't see a pile of books I was too lazy or too distracted or too disinterested to finish. I saw the power of quitting in these books. And we all know the dialogue around quitting. Winners never quit, quitters never win. And I do think this is true. I often say to people, and probably have said in these videos themselves, that the best way to ensure that you don't do something is to stop doing it. But I don't think this quote is all encompassing. In fact, I think this quote is used in the wrong situations a lot of the time. Not everything is about winning, and this is coming from a highly competitive person. There are only so many circumstances when you actually need to win something in life. As I get older and as I gain more experience, I come to find that life is more about learning and growing than anything. Okay, so how did these books show me the power of quitting? What is the power of quitting? Let's get to that. So I used to be a person who felt like they had to finish everything they started. I would never start a movie because I knew I had to finish it, and I knew the likelihood of me finishing a movie was low, which is probably because of the quitter label that I thought I had on me as a child and me wanting to shake that label that I thought I had. But I'm a naturally curious person, and when I allowed myself to try new things and to quit new things, I quickly learned so much about myself. I learned what I actually like. And I know that may sound obvious, but I'm being very serious when I say that. I struggled a lot with not knowing exactly what I liked and what I wanted to do. And a big part of that is not allowing myself to quit things or not wanting to try things, because I will quit them and then I will just be a quitter again. But when I look at my library of books, finished and unfinished, it's very clear what I do like. It's very clear what books kept my attention. It's very clear what books kept my attention for a little bit. It's very clear what books I just had no interest in. The books that I love, the books that I read many times, the books that I recommend to people, they all have very similar topics and they fit into similar categories. They're all very human centric, like what makes us tick, our human history, what makes us move, why do we do the things we do, why are things the way they are in our societies, what are our societies, how have our societies changed and how are they still changing, how do our minds work, why do our minds work the way they are, is anything real, is everything just fake? And if I don't allow myself to just buy books and stop them when I want to stop them and buy another book and not feel guilty about this, I don't have this very super important revelation about myself that has pretty big implications in my life, if you ask me. This is information that I can take with me for the rest of my life. I can build on it. If I'm looking for a career, I really know what makes me tick and why I want to get into certain fields and why I don't want to get into certain fields. Maybe if I'm looking for a partner or if I'm dating or whatever, I know things that make me move, and maybe that's like similarities that we can talk about. Nothing bad can come from knowing yourself and learning about yourself. And these are things that I wouldn't have known or learned or really had click if I didn't let myself quit. Now, before you say, yeah, you're really overthinking this, Nick, hi, welcome to the channel. This is kind of what we do here. This is kind of the whole premise of this channel. I'm just going to let myself overthink and wax poetic, right? But let me also just say quitting is very important to finding yourself. And finding yourself, I would say, is one of the most important things that you will do in this life. So many people keep doing things they hate, staying in situations that are bad for them because they don't know when or how to quit. Because seeing it through no matter what, always finishing what you start, is what we're told as of young, but without the proper context. There's a difference between giving up and knowing when to stop. In a previous video, we talked about failing and how failing is actually your friend, and the idea of perfection is not one that we should adopt or even hold close to our hearts as human beings. And I think the same is about quitting. I think that quitting is something that we should get more intimate with. I think quitting is something that we should do way more often. As a society, we need to be okay with quitting and failing. There's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that. How else are you supposed to know what you like and what you don't like? So what am I trying to say here? If I had to wrap this up and put a bow on it, what is the summary? You're never going to find out what you really like if you don't try. And part of trying, the thing that people don't talk about, is quitting. Not everything you do is going to be the thing. The next thing that you try may not be your thing. Be a quitter. Be a serial quitter. Be a serial trier, and understand that with that comes quitting. Take it from a lifelong quitter. Life is a journey where you're going to start a lot of things, and as a consequence, you're going to have to stop a lot of things as well. And that's okay. If you can't really tell, I've been kind of sick. I just popped a cough drop. So just wanted to at least get this short video out the way. I think it's short. I'm recording it and it feels kind of short. But I hope you enjoyed it. It was short and to the point, right? We need to quit. Stop feeling bad about quitting. A lot of the videos that I make are pretty related. So if I talk about a video and you haven't seen it yet, feel free to check out the other one. Yeah, and if you feel so inclined, I do hope that you like and subscribe. But either way, I hope you stay, and please pray for my health, and I'll catch you next time. Ooh.